Opening scene, Franklin is explaining what happened to Grady with Reed among Louie, Jerome, and Leon. Louie was upset that Franklin wouldn't let her speak to Teddy about the prices, considering the fact that she's worked with Teddy for months before, and they clearly already have a working relationship. So what's the problem?
You out of pocket. You out of pocket.
Franklin's always been the connect.
You
always.
First of all, you on your own. So basically, you come into your plug asking him to speak to his supplier. See, that's where. Okay, so I was with Louie and Jerome at first when they wanted to bounce because all the decisions that Franklin was making was purely for him. They were selfish, and he wasn't necessarily thinking about protecting everybody else's well-being. He was thinking about protecting himself. Now that we've done this time jump, we've seen that it hasn't really been financially viable. They haven't been able to hold their own by themselves. Y'all doing fine, but you having to go back to your buyers and negotiate prices and shit. So that ain't good. That's not where you want to be at probably this far into what y'all doing.
Yeah. So
if that's the case, y'all probably should have left your ass where y'all was at because y'all wasn't having these problems when y'all was up under Franklin.
For sure.
For you to come out your skin talking about, well, I should talk to Reed, you are not in my organization, and I talk to Reed.
Yep.
At this point, you are just another buyer. You just another drug dealer. So sit back, play your role, and meet me at the drops. Make sure you have my money on time. Because that's the way you wanted it, right? That is the way that they wanted it. So I cannot be mad at Franklin for operating that way because that is the way y'all set this shit up.
Facts. It's facts. Louie and Jerome speak to a man named Mello about the price cut, and homies around him are all wearing red. Apparently, Mello's boss is Skully.
Mello look like YG?
A little bit.
You look like YG.
Yeah, no. As soon as I saw them in red, I was like, okay, here we go. Skully's back.
Yeah, man. I was a little surprised because I definitely thought Skully died in that hospital.
He did not.
Definitely thought Skully died in that hospital.
Yeah. Skully is on some old wild shit. Crazy punishments for niggas in his crew. Slicing one of his homeboys' ears off.
Bruh. For absolutely nothing. Jerome and Louie pulled up and said that we can't do this fucking price. And he got his ear cut off. Told him to stop crying and not to bleed. Not to bleed on his baby's balloons. Somebody get this nigga, man. Somebody come get this nigga, man. Tripping.
Oh, man.
He got the homeboy sitting outside on the cinder blocks.
Yeah.
With the
wearing the signs with the thief and Judas.
Bro is losing it. He's losing it.
Nuts. Which, I mean, considering everything that's happened to him, I guess I'm not surprised that he's losing it a little bit. But he's losing it to the extreme.
How is he still in charge?
Well,
all you niggas sitting around just looking at this shit and y'all just... All right.
We'll get into that a little bit. So Louie agrees to 10 a key for Skully, but they plot on having homeboy Mello ice him since he's itching for the spot. He's itching for Skully's spot.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they felt him out too. They didn't just go to him haphazardly like that. Okay, so that's the trade-off, right? We get some of the trophy stuff in Snowfall, but it's real, right? Yeah. Like this shit. I keep forgetting that this shit. A lot of this stuff happened, right? So it's definitely real. I like that they sent the stripper to him to feel him out and see what his motivations is. What kind of guy is he? You know what I'm saying? How does he speak about Skully? How does he view his relationship with Skully? Is he loyal to him, or is he gonna go to the highest bidder kind of thing? I'm not sure where in that the plan changed for them, because it seems like they were pretty honest about elevating homeboy for a while. Yeah. So I don't know where the plan changed in that process. Probably seeing the fact that he was so gung-ho for the money, that he was so pressed over his status and not necessarily his relationship with Skully. Because they're like, well, he'll be with us just long enough until another nigga like Manboy come around and get in his ear. You know what I'm saying? Then we got to worry about him. And him is a guy that we don't really have no history with. We don't have no weaknesses on him. He can't be controlled if he goes rogue. But at least with Skully, that's the devil we know versus the devil we don't know.
Yep. Teddy is cleaning out Grady's office, sees some coke and hesitates. Do you think he hesitates out of like despise for Grady not doing a good job and obviously indulging in the lifestyle?
Out of them goddamn junkie itches he probably got.
All right. I just had to ask the question.
Hey man, Reed gonna fall off that wagon. Now, if it's one thing that I can say is gonna happen in this show, crack is getting sold, and Reed is going to relapse. He either gonna get drunk again, he's gonna start doing drugs, he's gonna go on a murderous spree. That egg is going to crack. That's why he's working off the books. That's why he is technically disavowed at this point. Because I think even the CIA realizes that this situation with Reed is very tenuous. And it could explode at any moment. So I don't think it'll be long before Homeboy falls off the wagon for sure.
Okay. Franklin and Teddy have a conversation about the prices initially. Teddy tells him his problem is making himself a middleman in his own organization. Then Franklin asks what happens to Alton. Teddy lies. Franklin pays for everything, but it seems he doesn't believe Teddy's answer and tells him not to come where he's not expected. Teddy says that Oso will be at the next drop.
Yeah, let's stop there for a second. So the first thing that we heard on Alton was the conversation between Reed and his handler.
Mm-hmm.
So his handler seems to think that he killed Alton. Louie mentions it when she talks about the conversation that Reed and Franklin had at his apartment. Asked him, so did you bring up the fact that he disappeared your father? Then Franklin finally asks him about it, right? And he gives him this answer, and Franklin moves on.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's going to develop into anger and hate, and eventually it's going to lead to a clash with Reed and Saint. It is eternally pissing me off that every time I turn around, that some TV show is finding a way to write a character that hates their father. You know what I mean? Like, hearing him say that Alton got what he had coming to him, even though you're potentially talking about Reed going down to Cuba after he looked you and your mama in your face and told y'all that y'all had a deal about letting Alton go to Cuba. And so him then snaking behind you and going down to kill your father behind your back is what your father deserved. Now look, man, you mad at Alton. I get it. You mad at Alton. He betrayed you for outing a crooked CIA agent who murdered a reporter. I guess. But let's go with that, right? He betrayed you. How bad would your dad have to betray you to where you didn't care whether or not your partner killed him? The one that's always done right by you. Ugh, that shit felt mad. That shit felt nasty. On one hand, you sitting over here talking about how this nigga could have potentially killed your dad. And on the other hand, in the same conversation, you sitting over here talking about Reed's always done good by me. That shit made my skin crawl, fam. That made my fucking skin crawl. Why are we so comfortable with creating these dynamics where the kid either has to remove his father or hates him to the point of not minding that he's dead or going to the point of killing him themselves? Why is that such a popular thing to rewatch?
I got nothing, man. I mean, like you said, at least in this case, it's a real, or it's based on real stuff.
Yeah,
so,
I would like to think that a nigga would care about a CIA agent taking out his father. I would like to. You know what I mean? I think he would. I would like to think that he cares more about that than whether or not Reed has always done good by him. Boss always been good by me. He let me work in the house and everything.
But I got the feeling that Franklin didn't actually believe what Teddy actually said to him, and he was a little upset about that.
Even if he didn't believe him, which he so much as said he didn't, he's still holding on to this idea that Reed give a fuck about him. that Reed, as tenuous as the situation is, oh well, he's always done right by me. He's all like how is killing your dad doing right by you? It's almost as if he accepted Alton's fate when he left him in California, left him in LA when he got on that plane. From that point on, he didn't care about what happened to Alton.
I feel like that conversation at that table, what they just had, kind of starts an underlying tension between them two, centered around, amongst other things, the death of Alton. I don't like, even though he's obviously giving the appearance that he didn't care, I think ultimately Franklin does kind of care about that.
I mean, look, you could have fucking fooled me. I think he asked him in that conversation because how do you not?
Yeah, of course.
You coming back here. We already went through this squabble about the prices, right? How do I not? You know what I'm saying? From a gauging where we are in the relationship at this point stance. How do you not ask?
Probably should have been asked that first night.
That tension was so thick that Reed had to bring it up. Dog, what? Your mother is alone in Cuba. She went there with your dad to live out her life, and Reed potentially killed him.
Yep.
We shouldn't have to get a season-long build-up to you fucking Reed up. There shouldn't be a breaking point in this season where you finally decide that this relationship with Reed is not tenable and you have to take him out. We shouldn't have to work our way to that. We don't get to that shit in the next 2 or 3 episodes, fam. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be real upset.
I would agree with you. We're not going to see it in the next couple of episodes.
Okay.
They're building their. You know what? I'm not even gonna say that yet. I'm gonna save it for the end of the episode. K-Pop says that Power does that. They kill the father. Death needs to stop. They kill the father to death needs to stop.
I agree with you, Pop. Power is really bad about that. Power
extremely bad.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if you still watching Force, but if you don't want to see that, well, you know, I'm not gonna tell you not to watch it because I want you to watch the reviews. But you are in for some more of that. You are definitely in for some more of that.
Peaches has graduated to coughing.
Peaches got that shit.
Bro, dead ass tried to shake my nigga Franklin's hand. Like, what's up with you? Don't be trying to shake hands after you done just coughed all COVID all up into your hand and shit. Like, relax, bro. Relax.
Hey.
Peaches definitely has that shit.
You got that shit.
Peaches definitely has that shit.
Feel bad, but he got that shit, y'all.
Rose says, I think Franklin cares. When he finds out Reed killed his daddy and the new connect, things will get ugly.
He pretty much knows now. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. He told Louie that he pretty much knows.
They're going to stretch it out though. They're going to stretch this out though. You know that. This is going to be a season-long thing.
The fact that he doesn't know that Reed is disavowed is what should stretch it out. Not the building and the angst of his hatred for Reed because he killed his dad. You should only, the minute that you decided that this nigga is lying to you, what else are we talking about? What else are we talking about here? What are we wasting time for? Let me give you an example, right? Who else? Even if it affected the business, even if it affected the flow of money, the supply, the buyers, whatever. Who else gets a pass from Franklin Saint for potentially murdering his father? Who else?
Nobody.
Under any circumstances, whether or not it's going to fuck up business or not, who else gets a pass?
His mom.
Okay, but that would be a crazy tweet.
I was going to say, if for whatever reason she killed Alton in Cuba, she would get the pass.
She would get a pass. But what has Reed done to offer you that level of bail? Like, nigga, that's life bail. That is bail on your life. That is, I'm really supposed to kill you for what you did, but you got this get out of jail free card. That's what that is. Yeah. So I don't like it. It's not comfortable. I have a hard time feeling that was the sentiment, that Freeway just didn't give a fuck because the white boy was making the money. I didn't care for that.
Fair enough. Do you remember when Franklin first saw Oso, like the very first episode? Do you remember how they met?
Oso and Reed or Oso and Franklin?
Oso and Franklin.
I think he beat Franklin up or some shit like that. Then Franklin, he pulled up on the house. He went to the house.
Okay. That's when they first, no. Very first scene, I think, of the first episode, Leon and Franklin and the other guy who now is in power, they all went to, Cat, thank you. They all went to Oso's wrestling match.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got you.
Just nuts to think about how they're doing business with each other. They're doing drops with each other now. It's just nuts. Like, I don't know. I just thought about that when I was in there.
The whole time.
Yeah.
All 4 seasons of Power, he didn't have that same jacket.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Oso and Franklin do the drop, and Franklin realizes he's being watched by Teddy. So he switches up his entire convo about Grady. Any thoughts on that?
Reed, if you got to go to these lengths, like if the main guy that you're going to be working with, if you have to keep tabs on Oso and Franklin, the paranoia. So let's just go ahead and start the clock now, because the paranoia train has already started for Reed.
For sure,
it has already started. If you to the point that you're bugging Oso and Reed, you're unstable. You're unstable because those are supposed to be the only 2 people. Well, maybe not Franklin at this point, because Franklin clearly has been trying to solidify himself and get out of the business. Oso though, Oso been down for whatever always. He's always been down for whatever. So I first of all, how did Franklin pick up on that so quickly?
Don't know.
Like, he for sure didn't see him.
Yeah,
you didn't hear no feedback or nothing. So how do you just know?
He just felt like he looked up in a building. He was like, "Oh, Reed could be there, so let me just switch up my talking about Grady."
And I guess they validated that by him going to the the warehouse the next day with old girl with the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
They basically went there to check it out, to test his theory, like to make sure that Reed was actually up there.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess that checks out.
Which, the other thing I wanted to say was, Reed is acting very paranoid now. Just imagine if he starts getting on them drugs again.
Oh, it's
going to be pretty bad. It's going to be pretty bad.
Oh, it is coming.
Just
for sure.
Throwing that out there. Detective Buckley is out here coked out of his mind, making food in Louie's office, and Jerome is not fucking with it.
Okay.
That was just a weird scene.
Here we got another light skin in places where he ain't fucking supposed to be. What is the deal? Jerome, big fella. This nigga has a pot of chili on your wife's desk in the room, unannounced. Your world, nigga. No, it ain't. No, the hell it ain't. I don't know. Hey, man, look. Hey, look. See, that I can't even call it a new age progressive relationship, because this shit happened in the late 80s. Yeah, so I don't know what the fuck is going on with Homeboy and Louie, but they seem to be very cozy.
Something weird with that shit.
Up to the point that he starts asking her for shit, and that's when shit gets contentious. But why it has to be so flirty, I don't understand. I don't get it.
I don't know, bruh. Mello, unlike the real Mello, is setting niggas up for the shot. He lets Louie and Jerome know that Skully is going to be seeing a psychic for his daughter's birthday. Mello is going to sweeten the deal by adding $100K and allowing 12 of key prices.
He wasn't trying to let $100K go. He wasn't trying to let $100K go. He's dumb. He's stupid. Maybe that was the moment that they decided, like, nah, we're not gonna go with him. Maybe that was the minute, like, shit, I would have gave you 100. Well, 100 did, motherfucker. Huh, shit. Since you got it. Also, the more that I think about that, the more loose that plan seemed from Melo's perspective. So, like, you in a spot right now where you could be next up, right? You could be the next guy. You just got to play your cards right. And I feel like he was doing a good job up until the point that he felt like going into this full-fledged. Like, the same way that they came to check you out to make sure that you was legit, or at very least make sure that you would be a decent mark. That he probably should have done a little bit more due diligence.
Why he's not the lead guy
sure
now?
Talking to Skully or no shit like that. Maybe tell them or put somebody on Jerome and Louie to make sure they actually kill that nigga, so that you don't have to sit up there and ask them to provide you proof.
That's probably why he's not the nigga now.
Yeah, like, you knew where he was gonna be. You knew that they was gonna be there. Why not put one of your men on the scene to make sure the job gets done?
Yeah.
And then all they had to do was throw you a necklace, his daughter's necklace, for you to think it's all legit. So I don't know, man. I feel like he probably should have done a little bit more homework before risking his life like that. But that's just me.
I would agree. Louie and Jerome hit the psychic spot. Jerome gets to thinking, what if she can tell we're here? Louie pays her bands to play along, which that is a really good question to ask. I mean, she is a psychic. She is Miss Cleo out here. She might know.
Definitely knew they were coming.
For sure. For sure. Franklin takes Dallas into the building where Teddy was during the drop. He realizes Teddy had the drop on him all along. We already discussed that a little bit. Skully walks into the psychic's home, and Louie and Jerome have guns waiting for Bro. However, to prove loyalty to Skully, they set Melo up instead. What's on that?
I still wonder where they decided to do that, because I just didn't see it. I didn't see it coming. Even now that I'm looking back on it, I don't see a particular moment where it would have been, because the nigga giving you the 100,000 when he was only supposed to get you 50 is just as silly as what he had going on with the stripper, where he running off loose with his mouth about his boss. So, like, I feel like you had that information already. You knew that he was the loose cannon and he was a snake. How did that? Where did the plan change in between all of that? I guess is what I'm asking. But in any case,
if it ever changed, if it ever changed, maybe that was the plan all along. After seeming hella stressed with the issue at hand, Franklin is talking to Veronique. Obviously, she's trying to relieve some of that stress. And that's when Wanda walks in. Wanda figured she'd brush off her resume and ask Franklin for a job.
I understand that Wanda used to be with Lee, right? And obviously they went through her stuff while she was tweaking. Are her and Franklin that tight that she could just, well, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, she was staying in his old house. So they must have got real close. Because from what I remember, the last time when Wanda was on that shit, Franklin was trying to get Lee the fuck away from her. It wasn't let's, take care of her. It was like, bruh,
cut her off.
Yeah, she gotta, you gotta do something about that. So I don't know. Something must have happened where they got much closer because she's staying in the house. She feel comfortable enough to walk into the place of business and just, letting her shit fly. I don't know, man. They
interrupting an intimate moment.
Yeah. I know at some point during the season we're going to get a flashback. So I'd like to see where, that came about, where they kind of got closer. Maybe, here's an idea. Because, she was in that shelter. She was in Alton's shelter before Alton had to book it. I'm assuming that's probably closed now. So maybe Franklin on some, guilty type shit. He feels like, well, my dad was taking care of all of these people. Let me try to give some of that back. Maybe he feels like he's doing the work that his father would do by helping Wanda.
Could be. Who knows? I don't know. Like you said, we got to see some sort of flashback at some point to see what's going on with that. Franklin and Louie have a very heated discussion after Louie asks about the prices. It would seem that tensions are rising between Louie and Franklin.
Because I don't know what she wants. You didn't want to be underneath her. You didn't want to be underneath Franklin because of his decision that he was making, which I understand. But then that doesn't come with the always being in the loop, being able to, speak your piece. You're a worker now. You're an employee. You made yourself an employee. And now, even though I'm literally in the midst of trying to bring you back into the fold, you still saying no. Well, if that's the case, then what the fuck? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is he's giving that fuck it, I don't really care, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do attitude to Louie and Jerome. Reed ain't getting that as of yet.
Yeah.
You didn't have that energy for Reed. You didn't have that, look, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do, give me what I need, or get ran over. You didn't have that energy for Reed. Also, I wasn't fond of the fact that he basically asserted that he would serve them up if it served his interest. That's not that, because now, okay, I've reached a point of no return with you, right? I pissed you off. You're basically washing your hands of me. Well, if that's the case, Franklin, how do I continue to do business with a person like that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I understand. Like, if I'm Louie, I understand I'm pissing you off, right? I'm making things harder for you, and then also financially, I'm fucking things up because you're not working with the proper margins because I'm not bringing the money that I'm supposed to. All well and good, but you're also doing things that are outside of my purview and that bring me deeper into this shit I don't want to be in. Also fair. But now you're telling me that because of all of that you don't give a damn and that you would drop me at a moment's notice if you had to so that you could make it out. So now the very thing that made me leave in the first place, you've taken to the umpteenth degree. And now we got to start talking about a whole nother set of issues because I'm no longer in it.
Yeah.
So we got to start talking about a whole nother set of circumstances because now it's me or you. And you've made it that way.
1,000%. But I think it's just because he's entered ghost mode. Like, he's willing to do anything to protect, his upcoming family at this point and protect getting out of the life.
Yeah, it's crazy though because that is his family. Both of them.
No, that's a fact.
Baby and Louie and Jerome. So it's like, you're not really making a valid point because you're giving up family to protect family.
But which one means more, your wife and kid, or?
Boy, I don't know where Franklin would be if it wasn't for Jerome.
That's true too.
He'd be a college dropout working in somebody's department store.
Yeah. I got a question for you in the chat that seems to be going to sleep on us. Acting wise, do you think that scene, that final scene, was up there with the brick by brick scene?
No?
No.
I
didn't say it was better.
It harkened back to that moment. It reminded me of it. I don't think it hit the same way. And well, for me personally, I didn't agree with the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was like he was hitting facts, fact after fact after fact. Like, nigga, do you know what I had to do to get here? Do you know what I had to do to get you here? To be in a position to sit up here and talk about how a nigga talk to you? And you gonna fix your lips to tell me that you don't want to do business with this man because you don't like how another nigga talk? We ain't gonna have that. But see, I feel like in this one, he's just as wrong as Louie and Jerome.
But you're talking more.
Their reasoning, acting like that is exactly what you're saying to them right now.
But you're talking more in the actual content of what he's saying. I guess I'm just saying in the
purely acting,
the conviction, the believability in what he's telling you. Like he will do.
Damson Idris is cold. Damson Idris is next up. Like if y'all ain't hip already, just y'all, man, he'll be just like y'all will be annoyed with seeing him in all these movie roles in a few years because they gonna give them all to him. Damson Idris is next up. But I think the original is better just because this one hits so well because of that one.
Yeah.
You only think about this scene standing out like that because of the original, because of the first one, that first conversation that he had with Lee.
For sure. Last thing I wanted to say before I got into the chat. We got one extra chat message here. I think I see how the next episode is going to line up. The A story will probably center around Franklin's issue now with Jerome and Louie. But then we'll see a B story of a pending issue that Franklin's going to have probably with Leon at this point. It kind of seems like, so in the second episode, we saw like the pending doom coming from Reed. And then we obviously saw that explored in this episode. And then we kind of saw something brewing with Louie and Jerome. So now that's going to get more explored in this next episode. And then we're going to start to see something brewing with Leon. At least that's how I think it's going to probably work out in the next episode.
I think I would, if I would choose one of those two to blow up first, I probably would have chosen Leon because Leon didn't even want to start up in this shit at all.
True.
When they got out of that shit with Reed and the reporter, he wanted to be Dunsky's way back then. So if I had to put my money on somebody, I'd say Leon flips before Jerome and Louie, because if Jerome and Louie flip, like y'all still want to sell drugs, y'all just don't want to sell drugs with Franklin. So that's a problem.
I think they're just setting this whole thing up for everybody's going to war with each other, and there's going to be this big, who's going to win the fight between all of them.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that, man. I'm not interested in seeing Louie and Jerome take up arms versus Franklin, and then Lee taking up arms versus both of them, especially when the main culprit to all of this bullshit is Reed Thompson. Reed is the one that won't bring the prices down. Reed is the one that killed your goddamn daddy. Reed is the only reason why your daddy was on a radio show back last season trying to expose the fact that he killed a reporter. Like Frank, are we forgetting that? You so dead set on your dad portraying you. Are you forgetting that this nigga murdered a reporter because he was so sloppy as to leave all his shit out there for her to find? Because you was out here gallivanting, getting high, flying planes, giving your brother a fucking heart attack to keep your shit tight. And then what is her name? Colleen? Was that her name?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Colleen found you. She snuffed you out. And instead of taking your ball and going the hell home, like the CIA ordered you to do, you took it upon yourself.
Yeah, man, I think, I don't know how. Somehow they're all going to find a common enemy. Maybe that common enemy is each other, or maybe eventually they find out, like, look, we got to take care of this, and this will take care of everything. So they take care of Reed, or they take care of Franklin.
Go ahead.
No, that was it.
I was saying, even if they war, I feel like eventually they're going to have to link up to beat Reed, because no single person is going to beat him. But I don't think it's needed. Like, show the strife. Obviously, there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be, when it's that much money going around, it's going to be very, very tight. Tension's going to be cut with a butter knife. But I just don't think I don't think you need to go full blown civil war. It's just not I don't think it's useful.
I see Civil War starts. They all realize that Reed was the start of all of the problems, because Grady was going to give them the price drop. So Reed is the source of all of the problems.
We all could have rolled our way out of the drug game.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll see how it all ends up, but That's just kind of how I see it, I guess. Rose says, be mindful that Louie still has to offer someone to her policeman connect. Who do you think she'll give up?
I mean, we haven't seen many people out of her organization. So that's probably why she's still looking, because she don't have nobody of value to give. Who's she going to give?
Could be Skully.
That would be sick.
Yeah, it would, but...
You know what? That makes sense. You know why that makes sense? Because why would Homeboy want the newly minted, you know what I'm saying, leader of this scrambling gang? Why would he want that? What he would want is the top dog. The one that got niggas out here sitting on cinder blocks with signs around their necks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is sinister.
That's the only thing I can think of.
He should have been sniffing for possum shit. He should have been sniffing.
That was a whole wild situation there.
I knew you niggas was possums. I knew.
Brillo, the big review. What up? What up? He says Skully got that Old Testament swag, which he does. I don't know what's going on with the boy.
Stacey need to chill.
Yeah.
Stacey needs to chill the fuck out.
That's a fact. I think that is all the chat messages we got. I think we are down to 4 viewers now, so I think it's a good enough time to.
Yeah, thank you for the last 4 who hung around to the end. Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all, and until the next one, I think we are out. Unless you have anything.
Nah, man. If you catch us on the replay, make sure you like and subscribe, comment, leave your thoughts on both shows, Bel Air and Power. And we'll be back next week. Make sure you tune in with us every Thursday, 8 o'clock. We'll be reviewing Power and Bel Air. Or excuse me,
Snowfall and Bel Air.
Snowfall and Bel Air.
And make sure y'all subscribe, man. We appreciate every single one of y'all. We will be doing this, like he said, every Thursday. Make sure you subscribe, and I think that's it. We are out.